Well, it's been verified. You'd have to pull the exhaust manifold to get the trans to come out. Okay, here's all the new parts. We got a little bit of grease, clutch alignment tool, new clutch disc, new pressure plate, throwout bearing, the pilot bearing we already installed, new shift fork, new rear main seal. All of this about to go in there. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're working on this Honda S2000 right here. So we're actually going to be replacing the clutch. There is a few tips and tricks that I want to show you guys. Now, I actually just finished doing the swap on here. I put a new clutch disc, pressure plate, throwout bearing, pilot bearing in. But now that I just finished and it's fresh in my mind, I want to show you guys the easiest way to do it for yourselves. There are a few different things that need to be done, and if you do them in the order that I'm going to show you, it'll be the easiest for you to be able to, replace your own clutch. So let's get under there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so first thing, get the car jacked up on jack stands wherever you're going to be working on. These 5-ton jack stands go high enough so you don't have an issue with replacing, pulling the trans out and stuff like that. So first thing, pop out this plastic cover right here. That just pops up. There's 2 plugs that go here and the little light. Unplug those. You gotta unscrew the shift knob. This thing comes out. Then inside of there's a boot. Take that off. And you will see 3 bolts that hold the shifter linkage in. Unscrew those. Shifter linkage pops right up. And that's the end of all you need to do inside of here as far as disassembly. So that's step 1. Step 2, come around here and remove this heat shield on the exhaust. You got to remove this heat shield on the manifold itself, and you can unscrew the manifold from the head. I tried doing it without removing the exhaust manifold. If you're running a factory manifold or a manifold that's in the factory position, you're gonna have to pull it out. The trans won't come out. It's gonna be stuck between the body and the manifold. Well, it's not exactly the manifold, but it's part of the manifold that it's stuck on. It's that after it joins in the one pipe all the way down there, it's gonna be stuck. Not gonna go good. Then we're gonna jump underneath the car. So when we get down under here, first thing you're gonna wanna do is unscrew the slave cylinder. Unscrew these 2 bolts, take the whole slave cylinder off. As an assembly, zip tie it. I zip tied it to one of these, and it was holding, and it was fine. Then you gotta unscrew the drive shaft. There's 6 of these bolts back here. Unscrew those, the drive shaft will pop out and you're gonna be good. Next, unscrew the 4 bolts right here. And after you got that, the trans essentially can swing down, if you unscrew these 3 bolts here. So once all those are out, unscrew the 2 bolts right here that hold the exhaust to the cap back, that hold the manifold essentially to the rest of the exhaust. Unscrew those, and once those are out, unscrew the 3 bolts here. Then you could try to struggle and unscrew the starter like I did before you do anything else. When I was putting it together, I found it way easier to, you're gonna have to lower the subframe down anyways, so you're gonna want to do that. These bolts right here, this one and this one, 19 millimeters, unscrew them all the way, pop them down, put them in a baggie, whatever. These bolts up here, these 19s, you gotta loosen those maybe like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Just back them out a little bit. And then once those are out, you're gonna want to start loosening this one and this one. These bolts are super long. You can loosen them out probably down to about here, so like 4 inches it'll come out, and it'll still have enough thread to hold the motor. When I did it, I did put a jack under here somewhere just in case, you know, in case I back these out too much, it wouldn't fall, you know, it wouldn't fall down. The way I did it is I put a jack under here, loosened these down, lowered the motor, and then, you know, if it held with the jack, you know, going down, and once the jack came off, if it was sitting here, you know, not falling, then I pulled the jack out, because there's just not enough room to work under here with the jack in there. But they held no problem, so I didn't have an issue. So once this subframe goes down, the whole motor and the transmission, they'll all kind of swing down. And that is when you can get more access to the starter bolts. There's one down here, one on the top side of the starter. The one on the top side is a pain in the butt. I got it out using a deep 14mm socket and a 3-inch extension on a 3/8 ratchet. And the ratchet that I used was a stubby one. It was a little hard to break it loose, but there was enough room over here to actually fit it in and be able to actually unscrew that bolt. So that's what I would recommend doing. I think that was the easiest way. Oh, I forgot to put the little... I actually didn't install this yet, but there's a little brace that goes between the motor right here and the top of the manifold, which I have to install still, the exhaust manifold. But that's basically it. Once you get the motor swung down, you'll be able to access the bolts for the starter. Take that out. I didn't actually unscrew the wires or unplug it. I just moved it out of the way. And then you gotta undo a couple wires here, unplug this one, unplug, you know, this one. There's another one here if your car is running a factory ECU. It's for the rear O2. He doesn't have one of those, so that's why it's not plugged into anything. So you unplug that, it clips in to the side of the transmission in a couple of spots. So there's a spot where it clips in right here, there's a spot where it clips in right here. I still have to plug that in. And then once the wiring's out, the shifter's out, the starter's out, the slave is off of it, the exhaust, after you unscrew it up top, unscrew it down here, there's one bolt right here that holds a bracket that bolts it to the motor. Essentially, it's a little bracket. Unscrew that one. You can pull the exhaust out. You're gonna want to pull it down, not up. There's no room to pull it out that way. So pull that out, and then once all those out, all you got to do is unscrew the transmission. So the top bolts are a little tricky to get to, but with a super long extension, probably I had the ratchet back here, so you know, that's probably 3 feet worth of extensions, maybe 2.5, 3 feet. You can get to the top bolts. There's 3 bolts on top, and then the side ones are all pretty easy to get to. There's 8 bolts total in the transmission, including these 2. And then obviously unscrew those, and the transmission slides out, and you know, you got access to your flywheel, you know, your pressure plate, clutch, flywheel. And once you're in here, replace the rear main seal. You know, it's $24. I bought it today, $24 at the dealership for the rear main for one of these. Buy it, replace it. Don't have to you know, go in here again after you just replace the clutch. When you take the slave cylinder out, make sure you disconnect the clutch fork. I think it pops out this way. you have to pull it like this, and then you slide it out of the throwout bearing. If you don't do that, when you go to pull the transmission out, it's going to hold the transmission to the like flywheel and pressure plate, so you won't be able to actually remove the transmission. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to get this thing off of jack stands, get all these tools cleaned up, and this thing is ready to go. Thank you guys. Peace.